Everybody, we're going to call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock on May 15th, 2023. Somebody make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second? No. Rich, second. All in favor, say aye. Vote. Vote. Okay. Minutes, we have 1 minute, 7 minutes, and that's May 1st. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? If there are none, somebody make a motion to accept the minutes as presented. So moved.
Second.
Okay. If no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay, we have fire and wood appointment.
Yeah. Bill Brown is the current fire warden
Right.
and Eric Stevens is the deputy, and I contacted them, they're both willing to continue. It's a 5-year term, so I just need each board member to sign both pages.
Okay.
If we want to keep them.
Is that all we need to do?
Yep, and then I'll send that back and they'll get us.
We need a motion, although
It could hurt.
I think we need a motion to approve the fire warden and the assistant fire warden. Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll move to approve Bill and Eric, fire warden and assistant fire warden.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Cambridge Court intersection update. What do we have, Lindsay?
So V-Trans contacted us and they are sticking with the recommendation of 3 stop signs at that intersection. They said if we don't want to go that route, we could at least just do 2 stop signs coming from Athens and Grafton. And underneath both of those signs saying the right or the left traffic does not stop. That's the update I have on the signs, the stop signs.
Thanks for the reminder earlier today. I got the, I'm actually using the fire department's lap.
The speed device is being moved from where it currently is, and we should get a report on that within about a week. So no update on speed, but that's the signs.
So we should just wait until we get,
Yeah, I think we
before we do
should.
anything else.
Yeah.
Anybody have any thoughts or questions on it?
They did say that definitely remove the yield sign.
Definitely remove it.
Yeah.
Would you want to do that now or you want to wait for the study?
Well, the sheriff's department did, it's like a do, they're trying to get that, from them to see what they have to say to it.
I think we have half the information right now.
Yeah. That's what we got.
E91 coordinator, John, you put that on?
Yeah, I'd like to know when we're gonna transfer that position to Laura. There's no reason why she should not be doing it. And not hire somebody else to do it.
That's not too much on your plate, right? It's a pretty easy job.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of it.
So you feel good about taking that over?
Yeah, and all the contacts through that department are really great. So they've been helpful so far.
When you signed the warrant last time, if you noticed, we paid a person to do it.
Right.
You're already paying a person right now, why are you paying double?
I agree.
No, I agree.
So who is it right now?
Bill Curran.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he took it over because, Morgan came in. She's been here now, I think it's time.
When do I take it? when do you want that in effect that she takes over?
Right now,
Right now?
we're not, we're not.
So somebody make a motion, is that okay?
No, I'm making the most, they can do it.
I'll start.
You got the motion?
Yes, thank you.
Any further discussion on, the E9 eliminator? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Water at the village park, Mike, you were up there.
Yeah, and did you guys meet with the landowner?
No, I went up to,
Did you?
he wasn't around when I was.
I went up in there, I think, where the parking lot is, and if we go back up in above the parking lot where the trails are. And there's one water bar we need to redivert in the opposite direction, go up to the top and create one or two more. And then you're probably gonna have to create a slight swale. If you go from the parking lot, kind of off to the right, sort of behind their kiosk, up halfway up the hill there. And to send the water further out. Go down below the parking lot and create a swale and bring it back towards the entrance. But I wouldn't bring it all the way to the entrance. I just cut it across, there's a trail down there, not kind of parallel the trail. And just kind of bring it back to the park and just let it kind of dissipate out. And then I think it would help. And then see what it looks like after that.
Well, I think we have an obligation to fix it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, you know, it wasn't there before, we created it.
I think a lot of the waters, you can, if you go up and you stand up in the trail and look down, you can, on a rainy day, you can see where the water, one is coming right down the main trail. And it ends up going off to the right of the trail entrance out of the parking lot, so which is diverting the water down around and send it right towards that house down below. And then Kobe and I went up there, and you walk out through where the skid roads were down out of the woods, you can see the water still trying to fall down out where the ruts were. They're just depressions, and I think if we just do a slight swale, not a big ditch or something, but just to create it so the water won't continue down the hill, but just slightly send it back out to the woods.
Can you get a machine in there to do that?
Yeah.
Can you do it now, or could it be in dryer?
No, it should be drying up now, get it, I think.
So it's not, so the water's not gonna go down any homes.
Well, I mean, if we do that, it should definitely bring it away from where it's going. You can only do so much right there. That definitely won't hurt. But if you look at it, a lot of the water concentrates off that hill and comes right into one spot, which ends up running to that trail that's right below the parking lot, which kind of parallels the road going in there. So it's kind of jumping it because there's some, little dips and dives in it. So it doesn't allow the water to kind of cast off where it used to. I think you find the water used to kind of go to more towards the road than it did towards the park, before the parking lot.
Can you divert it also with any kind of vegetation?
I mean, I would go back up in there and reseed it, with grass, to try to hold it, but. It'll grow up over time and, big trees and whatnot. But I think that's a place to start.
You know, that homeowner up there, historically, has he had any problems before?
I don't know what exists before that.
Nobody's ever complained about water until recently. So,
I was just kind of curious if he had problems before, but not as bad. Once we fix it. You're gonna say, well,
He didn't live
crops not. You know.
well, he's been there about
a couple of years.
a couple of years, but prior to the time complained either. But I
Rich, I mow the lawn and definitely in the last, 2 or 3 years.
Got a lot of
it's changed. I mean, I can't mow it at all now about it.
If we're gonna do something,
I think you said to fix it. I think you have an obligation.
Is that the gentleman who was here last?
Yeah.
time? Okay.
So you want to do it
Yeah.
as soon as possible?
We'll do
use it here.
it. All right, what else? do you
But
have?
another thing, Mom.
What else do you have on highway?
That's pretty much it, other than your test pits.
I see you put the chloride down on some of those days.
Yeah, we did. We had a problem with the backhoe. We have there's a valve in the front of it that has electronic magnets in it that opens the valve, but decided to burn up last week, so. David was nice enough to bring in his tractor so we could load the chloride tank into the truck, so we could actually put chloride out. So. We have chloride tank in truck right now.
Good.
What roads did you do?
We just did 121 today.
That was really dusty over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, it's dry.
And we're gonna do Eastman too, or?
We can do parts of Eastman. Yeah, we'll have to order more chloride because we're down to what we had left over from last year. That's the price of it. It's up there,
Did that go up to,
$1.18 a gallon,
what was it before?
like 95 cents. I mean, it's done up
Like
some.
everything.
It's definitely up there.
Thank you for doing that.
It's- Hopefully it's not a dry summer.
Oh, you mentioned test pits.
Let's do that on the water.
Yeah, that will cover it for a few minutes.
Okay,
I think Morgan passed around the Sullivan Powers engagement letter. And asking that we still use Sullivan Powers for our yearly audit. He has increased his prices, last year it was 16, this year it's 17.5. But I know we're very familiar with him, he is with us over the last 6-7 years, so. I'd still like to stay with him, and because he's a special service, it doesn't really have to go out to bid. So if you wouldn't mind, he tentatively scheduled us for August, we got us done really quick last year, so we had all our numbers even before budgeting time. So I was just asking if you would consider taking him on again this year.
I think you should, if you change, it's gonna be more expensive.
It will be, yeah.
And it's gonna be,
Factors
I mean,
will-
they know the system. And, you know, I don't think you're gonna get anybody cheaper,
not-
maybe more expensive. As long as you're satisfied with that.
Oh, totally, they're great to work with on the phone throughout the entire year. And they come down for one day. It's pretty much all they need. And it's reassuring to have an audit done. Trust me.
So I guess we need a motion to hire Sullivan Powers this year.
Oh,
We have a second.
And then, so if we could sign to the right there.
Everybody's good.
Yeah, everybody.
All right, so all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Opposed? Okay. The next item is the wastewater update. Let me update it before we can. Here's what's happening. There are only 2 sites left in the village that have a possibility. One is my orchard up on Spring Hill, up off of 121. And the other one is this Howland Mill field that, yes. They're gonna test next week, but nobody knows whether that's gonna be good or bad. So it comes down to. If that fails, it comes down to my field, and I haven't made up my mind whether I can put it up there or not. So if that doesn't work, then there is no alternative. We don't have an alternative. There is no signal. They did 7 pits, 7 test holes on my property. And they test, it's a viable site. So I say yes. It's they propose to put this system in where you have these, I don't know what they exactly are, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch pipes with these small emitters, 6 inches, 6 foot below the ground. And then it just kind of dissipates itself. And that's supposed to take care of it. That's the system that it's the only system that they can use. Even my site can't handle the machine analysis. So we had this meeting after the test pits, and I suggested that they need to before we go any further after we know where we stand with the test pits, because if I say no and this Howland Mill field doesn't work, then there is no wastewater system. That's it, period. So I suggested that what they do is within the next 30 some odd days, is they call a town meeting to explain what we're going, what's going on, where we are, how it's gonna work, what's gonna be needed, and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically where we stand.
How did they get this? Product. Up there,
They pump it from town
they
on
pump it
121,
and then they bring it up,
then they pump it up to my field.
okay, goes in a tank or?
No, it's, I guess, I don't know, it's a pump, so I guess they just keep pumping it from a collector of some sort. I don't know how that works. I don't think they know how it works, to be quite honest with you. Now, there are,
And therein lies the
no,
test.
I'm sorry, there are two or three towns that are now doing this. Okay, I'm not sure if they have, if I wasn't clear if it's in process or it actually is been installed. I can't answer that question.
Have we done the test sites at Home Mill?
Yes,
If they didn't pass?
no, and Alpine Field didn't pass. So this is the upper, they say upward might pass. I guess they have to cut a few trees in.
There's nothing I realize because as you pull out of the ground. It's not nothing much more than
Okay,
4 or 5
and
inches.
they're gonna do a few pits there, and if that fails, which it might, I don't know.
Well, I'd like to see an accounting of the expenditure that they have.
Well, there is no accounting because they have $92,000 as was the grant. And they're working on that 92,000.
Well, let me just read from an email from Aaron Moore dated May 2nd.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a couple of things. Due to the failure of previous identified sites, Ty is literally back to square one in scope and
That
finances.
is correct.
And we are working with no budget and out of curtain, the current contract.
Correct. And
But I definitely want feedback before then, as we are already well underwater on this project without an amendment.
right.
Now,
So
let me
let me
finish. We are just creating a monster for the town of Grafton. That's gonna be so expensive, it's just unbelievable. And I think the best thing we need to do is go to the town for a vote to see if we want to continue.
Well, that is why I asked them to have a townwide meeting. To do to explain where we are and whatever. If the town wants to go forward. Okay, then there is an additional grant. That's available. That the town does not have to pay back. Unless the project goes forward. And that grant would go towards design, but if there's no test pits, it doesn't make any sense. So there's where we are.
But if your land tests and and say you agree, then you could move forward to this larger grant.
No, then what has to happen, the select board then has to approve that we would take a larger grant.
And then the voters would have to
Right,
vote.
and I told Eric Moore that I would not want to bring it to the select board until there was a townwide meeting. And that's where it stands. So.
But at the town meeting, we need to have all the facts.
Well, they'll present facts, so sure.
I wasn't able to be at the meeting last Wednesday due to a family issue. But Morgan asked, I had 3 questions that I wanted to ask. And Morgan asked them for me. And basically my concern was about the cost of where we are right now with the cost. As the town incurring costs by doing these test pits. And I think you were just Joe on the call too.
Yeah.
Okay. So what the answers to my questions that Morgan got is that they were in the 30% phase, went to the 60% phase. But when they realized the site's been more, they're back in the 30% phase. They said they are over budget. But it doesn't cost us, at this point, it's not costing us, the town, any more money unless we decide to move forward.
Exactly.
So there's nothing, the town is not incurring any cost with what's going on with the test pits. Is that correct? From what?
Yeah.
She
From
told
my
me?
understanding.
Yes. And then there's another issue too that I don't fully understand. and that can be explained, is that and I'm not sure whether the state or the federal government changed the regulations for septic system groundwater testing. So they're telling me that there's probably another 15 to 20 wells that cannot exist if they have to be either redone. So we might, they say that the state is asking us that we might have to do a water study. Now, I didn't say that we're gonna do it or not, I'm just the messenger here. And that's one of the reasons why they drop the village park is study, because if there was a water system here, which I would never want to see, but if there is, then the wells would go up near the fire department, and you couldn't have septic anywhere up in that area. But that would be explained at the meeting.
Two things. One thing, I honestly think this whole thing's opened a huge can of worms, probably with the state of Vermont, so. We're doing this and now they're probably thinking we have some sort of serious issue that needs to be taken care of. In my opinion, we don't. Like you said, Joe, 150 years, we have no problem. Some people, don't want to change things, but I personally don't. But I think John's point is, most people wouldn't want to hire somebody to do something if it's state grant money, federal grant money, or town's money, without knowing where the first $27,000 went. I mean, they've been in town a couple times doing test pits. Is that where all the money went? I mean.
No, they're just the engineering studies to do.
Can't they have it itemized so we can see where the money went? I'd just like to know what you did.
I can't answer these questions, and that's why I encourage them, we need to have a townwide meeting before you ask me to bring this to the select board for a vote. If they wanted to go forward. I said, so I think where we are is they're doing their homework. They're gonna have some kind of a meeting, and I told them to do it sooner than later. So maybe sometime in June. And we'll have that meeting, and then you can ask all the questions you want, and then the town can decide what they want to do.
Now you keep saying the town, are you opening it to all the voters in the town or just you guys?
No, it's the residents of town. The town, we're not the town.
Well, you keep saying you're gonna bring it to the select board to
No,
decide
no,
whether we're gonna go forward.
if the town wants to go forward, if the select board wants to go forward, then they have to approve this new grant. But I wouldn't want to approve a new grant if the town people don't want to go do it. That's my point.
That's my point.
Yeah, I agree.
And when you say residents, you mean voters, right?
I'm not sure, but I guess it's voters. I don't know all the details on this thing. Bill Kern did some research back 6 or 8 months ago about who votes, who goes, and it's not fully clear whether or not it's just the people in the village who vote or it's the entire town. I don't know.
No, I'm talking about creation and action, the village has not been created.
Yeah.
So,
Unfairly, we asked Aaron that before, who should pay for this, and she can't make a decision on it. So we need to know that for sure. And we still don't know who is the town, village people gonna pay for it, is the whole town gonna pay for it? The maintenance on it, is the whole town gonna pay for it, there's a lot more money left over besides our grant money for this, like ACT. Which is millions of dollars, so.
No, we have a $4 million grant to build the
For
center.
a $7 million project.
Well, we don't know what it's gonna cost. And there's additional grants there, but I think we're skipping too far ahead. You might not even be able to do it, so why worry about who's gonna pay for it? Let's find out what the real situation is, and does the town wanna go forward with this?
Members, you know.
No. So the only thing I can tell you is that I told her unequivocally, I said, we're not going any further other than the test pits until you have a town meeting and tell us where we stand, what we're gonna do, and all those kind of things. So that's where it's. Morgan and I will make sure that we get the date and we'll ahead of time, and they'll come and they'll bring whoever they have to bring, and everybody will be able to ask any questions they want. Understand?
We'll have to have our answers for select board, or the town will have their answers too. Who's gonna pay for that? The engineering company is not gonna know who's gonna have to pay for.
No, I
this.
understand that, but you gotta remember that, if the study were to be complete. And, everything worked out well for the $92,000. Then you move into second phase. The second phase is, that's when you get the $4 million grant. That's when that starts. So even if you decided that you would wanted them to go further and take the additional, I don't know what it is, $50,000-$60,000 grant to complete the study. Even if you decided to do that, and then the town voted it down, there's no financial obligation to the town. I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying, there's no financial obligation to the town. The only time the financial obligation occurs is once you say, yes, we're gonna have a work. And then you hire the engineers, and then that's when the checks start to go.
Well, I think Joe is well, it needs to be decided. I need to have it up on your side.
I don't know yet.
Well,
I have to understand what the ramifications are, and I don't fully understand the ramifications.
but we're going to a meeting not knowing what is.
They're gonna tell you what they want. They're gonna explain the system here. I
Well,
don't
there is no site right now except yours,
Yeah.
and you haven't made up your mind where you want it.
Right. And I haven't made up my mind because I don't know anything about it. I don't know what my requirements have to be, what I'm expected to do as landowner. What is the town's responsibility? So I don't know all this.
I don't know how we can have a meeting without knowing what your decision is.
They're gonna have a meeting to decide.
If I was Joe, I would want to know before a meeting what the process is on his land. As a landowner, we would want to know what's coming out of the ground, what's going in. Gonna have an odor, is it gonna
Yeah,
be poisonous to his plants? I mean.
that's one of my concerns. Is it gonna affect my apple trees? I don't know.
But I think you need to know.
Yeah, well, but I think the town needs to understand where we are,
Give it up.
and that's what I think we need to do. So, then you can go from there.
Will that be discussed at the meeting you're talking about, that issue as well, what happened to your property or originated before?
No, I would not make a decision until I don't fully understand what they want to do. Yeah. And I want to see a dog and pony show with somebody showing the results and how it's done and what the ramifications are and all those kinds of things. And I'm just not going to start ignoring my land.
You also need to think about your value of your land.
No, of course. Well, that belongs to them.
Value.
No, it's going to be the value, yeah. And who's going to maintain my road? Up the hill. And how many times does the town have to be on my property? And you know, what is the inspection? What kind of liability do I have? I don't know. These are all kind of things that I have to know about.
Questions that have to be.
But I think instead of us all kind of guessing here, way I understand it, by Wednesday of this week, you will know how many sites are available. It will either be one or two. If that's available, that's a whole different ballgame because that's a good foundation that's there.
Yeah, I know the foundation site, they gave me permission to test it, but that was no obligation.
No, they have no obligation.
Bob said that, they said they would let them do it, just
No.
figure check it first.
So that's really where it is, and I think we need to have a complete explanation of what they have done so far, where they're going, and how is it gonna work, if it's gonna work at all.
So moving forward, you're saying there's no other cost that we're going to occur
No.
up until that
No.
point.
The only other cost we have is the town's labor to be the participants on this, that's it.
I'm gonna tell you the way this is sounding. I think we may be wise to kind of lost it at this point.
Well, that might be true, but I'm just telling you that's where we are.
But, John, you still want an accounting of where the money's been spent, that they spent so far. You'd like to see that.
Well, what has happened is they build a town, the town pays it, then they have to get it back to the state.
Yeah,
So we're just paying it and not knowing what.
Yeah, but you get reimbursed. So there's no
Hopefully,
cost.
hopefully you get reimbursed.
So the state is the one that got have a.
Well, what if they done it for $27,000? I don't know, you know?
No,
Well, yeah, because that was one of my, that was my second question, do they have time record receipts? Et cetera, that show the work done on the project, so far as support the cost incurred, they didn't really answer that.
I mean, they kind of just beat around the bush a little, saying that
they are.
they went to the
And-
30, 60, back to 30, so the 27 was spent on their time doing the 30% phase.
But
That product presentation they did this one.
but aren't they sending those sheets to you so they can get reimbursed by the grant or?
They sent an invoice back in October of 27,
We've someone checked it.
and we got reimbursed for it, but they're not, it's not clear on what they're using that money for, which I think is what comes on.
Yeah, but I think the accounting has to be to the state, not to us,
That's right.
because the state is the one that pays the money.
By the contract, they don't have, they have the county
There's no accounting for us, we
to
just
the
have to,
state, I mean, we can ask them,
we just pay it and we get the money back.
we can ask them for it, but for the contract, the county is the state of Vermont.
But according to this email, they've spent the whole grant of 92,000, but only billed us 27.
Right.
So what have they done with the
So
other?
they can go to state and we got.
No, they can bill us the balance.
Yeah, like they
They
can
made
make
it in the state.
yeah, so that's not that way.
What is, that's really expensive, put 92,000 to dig 3 test holes.
And we paid today.
Yeah, and we did the digging.
Hey.
What did they do?
I'm only the messenger.
No, I'm confused on it, so if we only have $19,000 grant and they're at $92,000, we're gonna ask the state for more money after they bill us and I might not get it.
I don't know if that's right,
Yes, it is,
that they're under 92,000,
yeah.
it is.
So if we want,
Yeah.
the grant was to, the problem is that they never anticipated having, no site. That would work. And the thought was to do a giant mound system. And that's what they would, either Alpine Fields or whatever else. Apparently that's not possible anymore. So, there was no alternative up until about, I guess, a couple of months ago, when they met with the state, and the state has approved it, and I don't even know what the name of it is. Where you put this pipe, foot in the ground, or something like that, and it goes into things, so they found that, so now that's a whole, they gotta re-engineer the whole process again.
But none of this cost could be for engineering a septic system, because they haven't found a site that they know what they gotta use yet. So that's what I'm confused. They've come down, they've checked a couple different times, different places. But they haven't had any that passed the test yet, so they don't even know whether they designed a system.
They have one side, one side.
Right, and that's just now, so, and they haven't designed a system for years yet, I'm sure, they probably have some ideas, but I can see if they had to go through the whole thing to design a system that works, say, at Alpine Meadow. But they haven't had anything good enough to
Those are the
design.
questions you have to ask them.
Right, but I'm just curious to know where all this money's going.
And I was adamant when they said that, well, we can get another grant and continue the study, and I said, no, we're not. I said, we're not going any further until you have a townwide meeting to explain where we are, where can we go, what the situation is. I said, because as a select person, I am not gonna vote for another grant, even though it doesn't cost us any money, to waste some more money. That was my thought. So that's, now, they were coming and pouring because, well, we're not really ready, because I said, well, you better get ready, because I said, we need to do this within the next 30 days or so. So we'll see what happens.
Maybe Steph can answer this question, but maybe you have to recuse yourself, given that there's a conflict of interest between the program and your land. It's obvious enough, but
Well, obviously, I would have to recuse myself, I'm assuming, but we're not at that point yet.
I would think only if you got some kind of benefit right now, it seems to be adverse impact.
No, there's no benefit, but.
Yeah. I mean, right now, it seems no benefit, a negative impact to generate.
But anyway, so that's where we stand, and hopefully we'll all be educated in the next 30 or some odd days. So in the meantime, we do the last bit, and then it's over, then Go,
So they say they're out of money now, are they gonna do all the prep
yeah,
for nothing?
whatever, they gotta finish their study. That's their,
They have to provide per the contract, they have to provide an accounting to the state.
yeah,
They don't have to give us anything, actually, they have to give it to the state.
Yeah.
They have to account to the state, anything they spend,
Right.
all of them beyond the contract.
yeah. So if they've spent $27,000 and, you know, and they gotta come up with another. What would be $70,000, they have to go convince the state that the state can send it that money,
Yeah.
not us.
That's right.
We have nothing to do with that.
I thought the grant was only for $92,000.
Yes, but they spent 24, 27. But when they have to give a bill to the state for the balance. And they're gonna have to justify that to the state of Vermont.
The bill comes to us first.
Yeah, I know,
Well,
John,
We're asking for money.
it doesn't make any difference. The state is the one that has to approve it and they send us the money. I mean, that's the terms of the grant.
That's what the contract says.
Yeah, that's what the contract says. So there's no pay into that. Anyway, so let's see, we'll keep you posted on the dates. Then we'll certainly have sufficient notification. You know, we're not gonna do it, you know, by putting a posted agenda, there'll be signs and emails and whatever on the meeting, we'll probably do it at the school board.
When you say meeting, that's informational meeting,
Yeah.
special town meeting, or?
No, just the information.
So the official vote will not take place?
Well, the official, if the town doesn't want to go forward, then you have to have an official vote for the town. If the town wants to go forward, then the select board have to apply for the new grant and then approve that grant. But right now, we're in the information stuff.
Why don't we just have an informational meeting and
Well,
10 people show up?
I don't think that, I think there'd be more than enough.
Oh, no, I think we're gonna have a regular town meeting.
Why spend the money?
Well, we're spending it now.
Well,
Maybe I'm confused, but it's not an official town meeting,
No, it's to understand it, and then if there's an overwhelming response from the people that they don't want to do it. Then you have a town meeting and the select board can just say forget it, and you don't need a town meeting for that.
I think they should have it.
I mean, I think so, and then, you know. If the people are voting one way or the other, then it should be binding.
Well, they're following,
It won't be.
they told me they're following, Londonderry is they're doing the same thing we are, same kind of system. There's 2 other towns and they're following the same procedures of having these meetings and information meetings, and then. Once it's, you know, once we get to the point, then obviously it has to be approved. But that, I'm just taking their recommendation.
But doesn't it seems to me though that the select board, if it comes back, we have the informational meeting. And why couldn't we just take a vote and say yes or no to move forward and before we go to the town?
Well, you could do it at a special select meeting and write it down.
Yeah.
That's okay. Let's see what happens. I mean, I don't know, you know, they haven't come back with any dates or anything else, so we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting. It's not gonna happen before the next meeting anyway. All right, let's move on here. Is there any personnel report?
No, I don't know. We'll need to get to you like,
I'm here for the rest of the month.
oh, let me get that card. Just do it.
Do we have any other business?
The personnel,
No, any other business?
did you find out about the fixing repairs to the cemetery fence and stuff? Is that-
We haven't gone to the cemetery yet.
I didn't, why did it go number?
Okay, so you and I need to get together.
Sooner than later, because the cemetery is looking like,
Well, more of it's coming right at us, so.
Well, yeah, it's expensive, but more than that, but
they haven't been cleaned, they haven't been mowed.
yeah.
The funeral that we had this winter destroyed part of the lawn in the Holtonville Cemetery. And the person's grave is sunk down that far. It don't look very good, I can tell you, anyhow. This tree, did you notice the tree across the picket fence on the village cemetery?
Yes,
To come
yeah.
down?
Are those people started, the new people?
I called them today and they said that they'll be in town tomorrow with the village cemetery.
That's cutting it really close for Memorial.
Yeah, I've had Morgan email 2 or 3 different times about, Memorial Day is a very important date.
I did get in contact with them in Tennessee on that burial site that what happened this winter that they destroyed. And they're coming right up to, they were aware that it is a mess. Cause it was a winter burial. Left a huge hole. And also. Kind of messed up the walkway and maybe one stone, so they will be here, they're aware of it, they're gonna fix it.
One of the stones that pushed over, one of the markers that pushed over.
That was from a winter burial, so that's probably why we should really try to stay away from winter burials. As much as possible, unless like John said, if it's a veteran, then we don't have a choice, it's military.
Yeah.
Kim, who's gonna fix it? Did you say?
That's Tennessee's coming up, they did the burial, and
Oh,
it was in the winter months, so they had to actually plow in there and do it. And,
Just that they-
yeah.
There's no other.
Here on to something else, I got one other thing I wanted to mention. There's a new resident out of the valley out here. And I had a question about Turner Hill, the spot where the town truck turns around there at the bottom of the hill. As you guys know what I'm talking about. Is that like in town right away, that turnout?
I would doubt it, not all of it.
No,
It's whoever owns that land, and that obviously foundation.
no, actually, the foundation owns it a little higher, it's, some other lady owns it above Raymond's property there, but. The reason why I ask is our new foreman, Russell Hodgkins, was out there, he didn't go out there after work, parks in that turnout and walks up Turner Hill for exercise. And he come down the hill the other day and there was a red pickup peeling out next to his pickup and took off. And he didn't know what was going on, so he went down the road and headed to town and all, he noticed the pickup was at Raymond's house. He went by and he got just down the road and all of a sudden the guy was so close behind him that he couldn't see the headlights in the guy's truck. Followed him all the way to town, got right here to the intersection, and he goes blinking on the go, and the guy pulls up next to him and started screaming at him, asking who the F he thought he was, and all this bull crap for parking there. And Russ said, I wanted to say, I'm sorry, it was your property, I didn't know. The guy wouldn't let him get a word in edgewise, and finally he just went on his way, but I know there's been a few issues. The fire department had a problem with the same person when they was burning some trash or an old camper or something out there. And the fire chief went up, tried to go up there, and the guy met him halfway on the driveway and said, that's far enough, you're not stepping on his property. And it really wasn't handled right. I think the police should have been called because it's burning garbage. He was like, everybody in the valley, and people don't have houses like here today, they call me, I'll stay because it's huge fire burning. And so I don't know who, I think Russ mentioned it to the one of the sheriffs here in town. And but I'm not sure if he's gonna say anything to him, but I just was curious to know, the property's not Raymond's, I looked at that, because you parked on the other side of the wall, it's whoever the other person is that owns above Raymond's land. And the signs all over saying there's cameras and whatnot, so I didn't know. I was hoping that we could say that was. Thought that was part of the town's right away, the guy can park there,
I think the first thing we would find out if it is a town right away.
and maybe we can contact the landowner, see if it's all right if someone parked there. I mean, we have that whole thing up to Turner Hill now, the Turner Hill house and whatnot, and that whole point was for people to be able to hike, and we have signs all over there for trails, and this guy is, screaming the F word at people that are parking there. It seems kind of strange. And I don't think the person that owns the land has any idea this guy is sheriffing her property. But it was pretty mean and dangerous.
You look at the tax back downstairs and find out. who-
Yeah, I have on excellent, and I just looked on there and I forgot her name. What's her? Yeah. And it's not that many acres, I don't think there, but it's definitely not the property that he's on.
is there a house there? Is there like a camping?
No, there used to be a trailer that Raymond had that burned years ago, but that was on his side of the wall, so a wall just like this and the turnout the town uses above it. You know, from me to you away, so. But apparently the guy is pretty territorial, because he's been after a few people now. You know, for that stuff.
So when they want to use the trail, is there a specific park area that they can park the cars?
You can drive to the top of the hill and you can park up there, I mean, you probably have to ask that guy, see if it's okay. It's, I mean, it's not his land, so anywhere there, I would think you could park, most,
So
you
it's
know,
not,
most people wouldn't care.
so it's not designated areas in the center.
A top. He likes to walk up the hill for exercise, and he walks up, and the guy's 50-something years old. And he wasn't doing anything wrong, and if the guy just gave him a chance to say something, he said if it was his property, I'd be more than happy to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'll go somewhere else, he hasn't been back. But I don't think that's right, I think that, I just wanted to see if it was something the town can do about it, maybe let the man know that that's not his problem.
But we can certainly talk to the state police. Well, we have no
I
enforcement.
think you're gonna end up with more issues with it, I really do, because it's, to get out, go off over something like that, 2 incidents the town's had with him so far. He, you know, the fire chief, he just told him to get off his property. You know, like burning a part of a house up there, or trailer. So. I just gotta bring it to your attention, because you're gonna hear more about
Yeah,
it.
thank you. Well, I think, you know, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Any other business? Any public comment? If not, the next regular meeting of the board is Monday on June 6th. No, is it June 6th?
Yep.
Yeah, June 6th. That's not Memorial Day.
It's not, so we can.
Here at 6 p.m. A motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye.